And we had a meeting last week to discuss this matter, the U.S. Colored Troops Monument. And it is important that we get to a place where the city officially approves the design for the sculpture. We have not done that yet. We have approved the site, which the site now has met all of the requirements and gotten all the approvals, and it will be a small portion at the north end of the Natchez Bluff. That has already been done. Since then, a lot of meetings have taken place. The site.
Is that the entire north end?
No, a small portion.
Oh, okay.
A small portion. It is a small portion of the northeast corner of the Natchez Bluff. And this has it has been discussed already and presented here at an earlier meeting quite some months ago. It was also presented to the Preservation Commission, Planning Commission, and also, well, you can give us the report. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. We're not looking for a final vote today. This is to acquaint you with the process where we are now, the design. Later in the meeting, well, we may go ahead and discuss it at the end of this conversation. I may go ahead and bring up a grant discussion that also pertains to this, that can address some of the questions regarding funding. So I'm going to turn it over now to you, Mr. Pernell, and to you, Mr. Harris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the board. I'm going to do a quick summary on how we got to where we are. And then Mr. Harris will lead the discussion on the monument and what was chosen. In April of 2021, we were established. We've had meetings. We have a five-member board, five committees with board members, and Mr. Harris is on the Monument Design Committee. He chairs that committee. We've said in the beginning that we wanted this to be a community project, and we've had 2 community meetings. And the last community meeting we had, the community voted on, we had 3 concepts. The community voted on which concept they would like to see. And that is the concept that we're going to put before you today, and hopefully get your approval, answer any questions you might have. We have Mr. Roscoe, Dr. Roscoe, who's our PR, chairs the PR. We're out on different platforms. We're in the paper. There's articles. So we're doing whatever we can to be visible and allow people who have any comments to be able to use those comments or to be able to let us know. So I don't want to take up a lot of time, but I just want to say thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the board, and especially Ms. Hall. This is in your ward, and we just hope and pray that we can get this done to be an asset to Natchez Adams County.
Thank you.
Any questions for me?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes,
thank
Alderwoman.
Mr. Pernell and Mr. Harris and their overall committee and your subcommittees for all the hard work that has gone into this. And it's been over a year. It's been a process, and you've now come to fruition. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, good morning, Mayor and Board. Thank you for giving us some time to be with you today and to talk about this important project. Just to give you a little bit of background information for what the Monument Design Subcommittee has been doing since last spring of 2021. We worked diligently, having a variety of different meetings, discussing how we wanted to proceed with coming up with the monument design. We worked very hard to create a request for qualifications and proposal Ms. Liz Danton, who's also a member of this subcommittee, worked tirelessly with me to put this together. We advertised it in May of 2022, and we spread the word all throughout the country. Dr. Barnes, who Mr. Pernell mentioned a moment ago, was very good about putting this information out there. We also sent it to at least 65 designated persons, some of which had done similar monument work previously, but also a variety of other associations. Out of that, we received 10 applicants from across the country, East Coast to West Coast, Deep South to the Great Lakes, or the Midwest. And the committee, the subcommittee, as well as the whole overall committee, worked tirelessly to look at these qualifications. And we ended up coordinating with Mr. Jay Warren. He's a native of Vicksburg, Mississippi, lives in Oregon currently, and has done similar monuments throughout the country and Canada. After we engaged with him, got a contract to begin this work, he assembled a team. His primary landscape architect is Brantley Snipes, who's based out of Greenwood, Mississippi. They came together, put some concepts together, and we had the second community meeting on October 4th, 2022, open to the public, which we presented all of these different design concepts and sought feedback from the community. In addition to that, we also had an online component that was open until October 31st, 2022. After all the comments were received from that resource, in addition to our YouTube and Facebook channels, which Mr. Dustin Hinkle graciously put forward on the internet for us. We pulled all of those things together, and a preliminary report and recommendation was put forward. And the recommendation was to move forward with Concept A. At our last full committee meeting, the entire committee adopted that, and we would like to move forward with that. What you see up on the screen right now is a report from Brantley Snipes, who again is the landscape architect working on this project. Do you mind scrolling down, Dustin? So as you can see in this image, this is an overall image of the entire bluff area. And you can see it's that percentage that's in yellow is to be what we'd like to see happen for the monument space. I handed out to all of you this document that shows the size in feet. Please make note, the scale on this is 1 to 20, but it's designed for an 11 by 17 sheet. And as you know, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet. So the scale is not entirely accurate, but the numbers are the 115 feet and the 157 feet. Will you scroll down again, please, Dustin? This is the sculpture design that was put forward, representing various different parts of the regiments and the naval officers that were from the Natchez vicinity that served. Next slide, please. And then here's some artistic renderings and an overhead view of the design that's put forward. And again, that was adopted by the full committee. Mm-hmm. The 6 pathways that you see are representative of the 6 regiments that served in the Natchez vicinity.
I think it's important to note this is not to scale.
That's correct. That's not to scale.
I mean, looking at that, you would think it's taking up 1/4 of the field, and it's not.
That's correct.
I just want to make sure everyone understands. Yes, Alderwoman Smith.
I know we had mentioned getting it staked so we could all go look. Is that going to happen?
I understand that that's being worked on before final approval to actually stake the parameters.
If you'd like to set a date and time, we'll be happy to do that and meet with y'all to make that happen.
Mm-hmm. That would be good.
Yes. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would like to also thank a local, Mr. Boxley, who I talked to, who had a lot of input in picking that site. Am I correct? So I just like to also give him a shout out because he is one of our local historians who has a lot of history on dealing with Natchez and the color truth. Matter of fact, he participates every year out there in Jefferson College and dealing with it. So I want to give a shout out to Mr. Boxer too. And I just want to say, gentlemen, thank you. Y'all doing a great job, and I'm not going to take anything from y'all, so thank you very much.
Thank you.
Alderman Fraser. Yes, Mr. Harris, back to you.
I will add for Sir Boxley as well too. He did provide commentary that was provided to Jay Warren and Brantley as they went through their process, and he's talked to them as well too.
Okay.
And then this is again a bird's eye view of the design to be put forward, and then we do have a preliminary cost estimation. Again, please make note that this is very preliminary. As we know, construction costs over the last year or so have changed dramatically. And we have, I'm sure that the costs will change at some point in time. But with that, and I'll let Robert speak to this as well too. And I think Mr. Mayor is going to speak to this as well. Some of the funding opportunities that we think that can cover, if not all the cost of this, the vast majority of it.
We'll go ahead and have that discussion now. I want to say also, it's important to note that a descendant of the U.S. colored troops has served on the committee, several. In fact, all 5 subcommittees have had representation of descendants of the U.S. colored troops on those committees. I also want to thank Deborah Fontaine, who is also a historian working on a book, 9 from Natchez. She is the direct descendant of 9 who served in the U.S. colored troops.
Mr. Mayor, I'm glad that.
Yes, Alderwoman Hall, you're
Just share
recognized.
that we're grateful that my mother was aware that she had 2 members.
Oh, wow. And so Alderwoman Hall is a direct descendant, and thank you for bringing that to our attention. So with that said, it also has been noted by historians that with such a large contingent of U.S. colored troops coming from Natchez, we can actually trace lineage back. 90% of our African-American citizens can trace lineage back to a member of the U.S. colored troops. I'm very glad that we are finally, as I've said before, it is time. Finally, it is time to honor, and I'm so glad that we're doing that. We want to honor in a significant way because this is a significant step forward in telling the story of Natchez, telling our history. It is going to be costly, but we are encouraged that there are private grant funds available that we are currently looking into, and some have great promise. But we also are encouraged by a meeting that we had last Thursday that was organized by the Friends of the Riverfront, Downtown Natchez Alliance, and more specifically, the group behind the plans to develop Revels Plaza. Revels Plaza, currently known as MLK Triangle, is in our master plan to be developed into a park. And that park will include a statue to the great Hiram Rhodes Revels. Mr. Revels, Senator Revels, Pastor Revels, many, many titles that he earned over his lifetime. He is noted as being the first African-American to serve in either house of the U.S. Congress, taking his seat. I believe that was in 1870. And the very early months of that session, it was noted that was an amazing day in the history of this country. Senator Revels has never been properly recognized nationally, and we want to correct that. So we already have budgeted in our bond $150,000 to go toward the development of Revels Plaza. We have already completed phase 1, which was removal of underground storage tanks from the old filling station there on that site. We're now ready to go to phase 2. Phase 2 being the development of a green space and eventually the park and then the statue. Well, In the meeting we had Thursday, it was brought to our attention by Neil Schaefer that Revels Plaza qualifies under the definitions of the RAISE grant application program through the U.S. Department of Transportation that is currently available to us and to communities all across America under the Biden administration, and also made possible through generous funding of the Infrastructure Act, which our own Congressman Benny Thompson supported and our own Senator Roger Wicker supported. Those funds not only can be made available, though, for Revels Plaza, but they can also be made available for the U.S. Colored Troops Monument development. We look to the city just north of Flora, Yazoo City. Last year, they were successful in getting a $12 million RAISE grant. That grant is going to develop their depot, but it's also going to develop part of downtown, part of an African-American business district that has been in a state of decline for a number of years. Looking at that application and comparing it to our needs in Natchez, it seems that now is a prime time for us to apply for a RAISE grant. That RAISE grant would be for the purpose of developing the Revels Plaza, but also developing the U.S. Colored Troops Monument site. But also, we'd like to take it a step further. I want to just throw out this goal, and that is to develop a Forks to Freedom corridor that would incorporate everything in the vicinity of Devereaux Drive, St. Catherine, where Forks of the Road is, to Revels Plaza, and then down to the Bluff, and then taking in the site where our Proud to Take a Stand monument currently exists at the auditorium. Included in this grant would not only be funds to develop Revels Plaza and also the U.S. Colored Troop Monument, but also infrastructure improvements to the corridor there at Devereaux Drive and also St. Catherine, and also addressing the entrance to downtown at the flyover. If currently you go out there and look, you'll see the flyover directs everyone away, and we have a business corridor there that is suffering because there is no signage to indicate that that is the entrance to that business corridor and the traditional entrance to downtown Natchez. We also see that in that beautiful green space just under the flyover, we could actually develop a beautiful park-like setting where individuals could park, where they could have electric charging stations, and where we possibly could begin a foot trail or bike trail. The deadline for the RAISE grant is the end of February the 28th. We have been talking back and forth about a possible RAISE grant now for a couple of months. Neil Schaefer has offered to help us get this RAISE grant application completed, and they believe they can get it done by February 28th. I've already started the conversation process, met with Representative Robert Johnson in Jackson on Thursday. Representative Johnson has reached out already to Congressman Thompson, talked to him yesterday. I will be going to Washington on Thursday, and my hope is to meet with Congressman Thompson's office along with other members of our congressional delegation. We would like to move quickly in applying for a RAISE grant to create a Forks to Freedom corridor for the city of Natchez. Included in the design would also be development and improvement of that area around Revels Plaza, going both south and north on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Street, because that is a historic area in our city. It is also and can be considered a center of our African-American business community, and even dating back to the oldest days, some of our oldest businesses, African-American owned businesses, are in that area. In fact, the barbershop that's there at the Triangle, I believe has been there since 1962. And so it's very important that we do this. As I said earlier, we have budgeted $150,000 for the Revels Plaza project. To accomplish this design in such a short period of time, get the application submitted by February 28th will cost $30,000. Should we, but I don't want to say this, I believe we will be successful because this project checks so many boxes from history all the way through to business development and tourism development. But should we not be successful this first year, then we can reapply and all of the work will already be done. And so before we go any further, I would like to request a motion that we engage Neil Schaefer immediately in the development of a plan and application for a raise grant for the purposes of developing the Forks to Freedom corridor. The motion has been made by Alderwoman Hall and seconded by Alderman Davis. Discussion on the motion.
Mr. Mayor,
Alderwoman Hall.
I will say that in the spring of this year, 2022, I did reach out personally to Congressman Thompson and to share with him the history of Congressman Revels, Senator Revels, and he did go before the House of Representatives. And this biographical information on him has been placed in the congressional record. And I did give a copy of this to Zion Chapel.
That's wonderful. And we were so grateful to see that in the congressional record earlier this year. And thank you, Alderwoman Hall. I know it was made a part of our minutes
Yes.
here in this in this city meeting.
Mr.
Do we
Mayor,
have, yes, Alderman Frazier.
let me say this. We had a conversation, me and you, yesterday, and as I expressed my concern, you almost virtually guaranteed me that we was gonna get that grant. And
Well, I can't guarantee.
Not guarantee.
But we're gonna work hard on it.
Yeah, but let me finish. And I've stated to you, I have no issues with that, as long as we just complete the Hiram Rebel Plaza. Now, let me say this to the rest of the public. We went into detail talking about the monuments, the Color True Monument, Hiram Rebel Plaza, out 61, where we want to beautify it at the flyover and what we want to do out there. Now, as you know, everyone here knows Natchez is one of the most, and I'm proud of being from Natchez. Natchez is one of the most beautiful cities that you can visit in the country. Now, what my thought is, and I guess me and the mayor, sometimes we might think on the same line, we might not. But here's the thing of it is, if we do that, we are planning for the future. And let me say why. Even much out to the flyover and back, because in the future, we're going to develop the forks of the road. The forks of the road going to come in. So from the flyover all the way into the city of Natchez, we are showing our historical pride and what we got. It's not just for the Black community. It's for every individual in Natchez, be you white, black, blue, or green. This is what we're doing. We're sitting on the board now. We are planning for the future, and that is what Natchez need, planning for the future. So if we can, as I told you, if we can get that $30,000, I'll vote for this. But like I say, it's for the peoples of Natchez what we are doing this for. It's not just say we got the money. We got the money from the federal government for infrastructure. So therefore, we need to spend it for our community, not just for the sakes of be spending, just be looking good. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor.
I really appreciate your comments. Thank you, Alderman Frazier. Alderwoman Irving, yes.
I'm also on board with that. However, I did hear you say everything included on St. Catherine, but I did not hear the Angeletti House. And that's a staple. That is a part of our history as well.
Yes,
So
it is.
could that be included in the grant as well?
We certainly can
Please,
ask that some funds be included for that. I think that's a great idea.
I mean, it's a part of it. It's
Mhm.
historical
It is.
and it's a house
It
that
is.
can be toured over a period of time. once it gets the restoration done.
I love that idea. I do. And y'all forgive me. We have so many moving parts today. I am going to move on. This has
But the
been,
Angela House will be a part of that, Mr. Mayor?
we're going to definitely ask our engineers to include funds in there for development of the Angeletti House. I think that is a great idea.
Call the
At
question.
this time, the motion has been made. We've had discussion. The question's been called. We're going to proceed to a vote. Being that this is a grant application and it is an investment of $30,000 in bond funds that are dedicated for the development of Rebels Plaza, I'm going to ask for a roll call vote on this. Alderwoman Hall,
Aye.
Alderman Frazier, Alderwoman Smith,
Aye.
Alderwoman Irving,
Aye.
Alderman Davis. The ayes have it. Motion carries. Well, I'm excited. And our hope is this is a one, let's see. Mr. Johnson, raise grants, the match.
The consultant had said that there was none required.
Mr. Johnson, please come to the mic.
Yes, thank you.
The consultant had stated the other day that for rural communities, there was no match requirement.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wanted to confirm it. So this would be a 100% grant. All right. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work you've done. I will look forward to the next step in the process.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. And that takes care of the item that
Mr.
I had
Mayor.
under the mayor's report. Yes.
I'd just like to take 5 minutes to thank this council. It's a progressive council, and not just me, but people I talk to see something is happening in Natchez. So I know it's hard work, but I just want to thank you guys, ladies and gentlemen, for supporting Natchez the way you are.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Harris, as well.
Thank you, Ms.